session, Sprinting Towards Successful Student Engagement and Digital Transformation by Strathclyde University. So over to you guys.
Thank you.
Your turn.
Right. I'm Catherine McMillan. I'm the Assistant Director in Information Services at Strathclyde. I'm responsible for the IT provision. And really, I'm not going to say anything more on this. I'm just going to hand over to my colleagues. Donna, who's our Collaboration Services Manager within Information Services, and to Scott, who's our Deputy Head of Educational Enhancement within our Student Experience and Enhancement Services Directorate. And it really was very much a collaborative project, and indeed is a collaborative service now. So, hand over to them.
Thanks, Kat.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Yeah, I can hear. I can't do much about the temperature. I was going to adjust it, but it says under no circumstances to change it, so I didn't. This lets you see a wee bit of the app, what it actually looks like at the moment. So I'm going to talk a wee bit about this. The race so far, you'll see there's a bit of a theme here. I'm not going to start sprinting across the room, but anybody that's familiar with Agile Methodology will be familiar with sprints and Scrum, and all the technology that goes with that, and all the terminology that goes with it as well. From a digital context, the race so far, as a university, we were very aware of the increasing prevalence of smartphone usage on campus. You can see students walking around everywhere they go, walking into walls usually. We had statistics, which you can look up if you wish, to show that 81% of all phones will be smartphones by 2017. We've pretty much seen that that is pretty accurate. And 98% of 18 to 24-year-olds, which is our biggest catchment, not our only catchment, but is our biggest catchment, will own at least one smartphone by that time. In our own surveys that we ran in parallel with this data to see if it held true for our students, we saw that 98% of students had the personal use of a smartphone, 63% also an iPad and tablet. But probably the most interesting statistic, although I will point out that it's at points in time, it's not been completely across the board yet, but use of our virtual learning environment, which is a Moodle platform, is at points in time over 50% on the mobile rather than on the desktop. So there's a huge shift, and this is where we started to talk about how can we work together to integrate the virtual learning environment with a mobile-first approach. Institutional context, so this is where the Agile project management and the sprints came in. It was a small project, 12 months, we were given to see how much we could do in that time. There was no strict remit of what we had to achieve within that time, so it was really helpful to have a bit of a blank page. You don't often get that. There was less at stake, arguably, because we didn't have a definite end point that we had to get to. We just wanted to see how much we could do in that time. It wasn't a huge budgeted project. We didn't have a lot of resource. So again, it was about sort of dipping our toe in the water and seeing how much we could achieve with that time frame. Small development team, 2 full-time developers, 1 front end, 1 back end, part of our business systems team, and working with we've got 2 developers in the virtual learning team as well. So between us, and I was project managing, Scott was my right arm, I suppose, in all of this. We worked very well, the 2 of us together. Senior customer, thank you. Is that what it's called? One thing I would point out before I leave this slide is 12-month Agile project. Anyone who's worked in Agile, 4-week sprints is quite long, but we found that 4 weeks was as short as we could get it for a university environment, because there are so many bureaucratic committees and decision-making things that you have to overcome in a university, that 4 weeks was the best that we could get it to, so that was where we were at. We did have very high expectations, and it's highly visible, so although it was a small project, not a huge investment, a small team, we had to get it right, because it was pretty visible if we didn't. So, my glamorous assistant has deserted me.
I'm sorry.
I've clicked the road thing. Technology target. Up next slide, please. Thank you. So a wee bit about Agile methodology. Hurdler there, as you can see, it is difficult when you're working in a typically traditional waterfall environment. to implement Agile. Often it feels really like you're sprinting alone, because you have this 4-week deadline and this ambitious plan to be able to release something, which with digital technology is so important, people want to see it, and no one else really is operating on that time scale. So sometimes we had to adjust our expectations in line with that. The big difference with Agile is that the scope moves and the time and the cost doesn't. We find with most of our other projects, the time and the cost frequently varies with waterfall approach. So we very much we only had a limited amount of time, we had a very small team, we only had a limited budget, but we could move the scope. So this is where you get into minimum viable product territory, which we talked about in one of the other speeches this morning. And just about, we knew we would put an app out, it was just how many services we would be able to put out as part of that we would vary as we progressed. Thank you. So, handing over the baton, Agile project management is so different compared to the traditional way we've worked on software practices in the past. You know, decoding the complexity, the requirements phase, it's every day. You don't finish your requirements and then move into a bit of development and then into testing and then into release. This was a constant cycle. We used an Agile planning group with our stakeholders where we met every 4 weeks and used a must, should, could, won't Agile technique to just literally pick off our product backlog. Our product backlog came from a student survey where we literally asked students if we had an app, what would be in it? And they gave us a full list of the things that they wanted, and we just reviewed that every month until we picked off as many as we could. As I've said, sometimes you're sprinting alone, a lot of competing agendas and priorities and lack of buy-in, with the technology landscape constantly changing. I'm quite proud of us for managing to do what we did. So, crowd reactions. What are the crowd reactions? To date, we've had approximately 20,000 downloads with about 10,000 active users. It's important to give a degree of caution with those statistics because it's very difficult through, I don't know how familiar you all are with working with mobile stores like Google and the Apple Store. It's very difficult to get really good analytics out of there. So we know how many people have actually gone in and downloaded the app, but we don't know how many of them have kept it on their device, how many of them might have it on 3 or 4 devices. So it does come with a bit of caution, considering we have about 16,000 students. We obviously 16,000 undergraduates, yeah. So the 20,000 is a bit of a... other statistics that are worthy of note are the push notifications and the API hits that we notice as a result. As you can see there, a push notification to say our personalised class timetables were out and about 1,000 hits in the initial period. So these are things that we're starting to monitor, things that students are interested in. So it's really revolutionising the personalised communication and giving us real direct insight into really what they're interested in. Once they start tweeting about it as well, and saying that the app's changed their life, we know we're doing something right. Because they'd be very quick to tweet about it and say that it didn't, or that there was a problem with it. And we're doing pretty well in the store ratings as well. We don't register on the Apple store ratings because we haven't sold enough units. We're not big enough. We're not Sky or something like that. So if we ever reach that stage, I would be very surprised, but you never know. A push notification that went out last week about special circumstances around exams. We noticed 3,500. For anybody that isn't familiar with the API hits, it's literally clicks. If you get a pop-up bubble on your phone to say, here's some information about special sit, and you click it. So with 3,500 hits within 2 hours. So students are obviously very engaged with this way of communication. So I'll give you a quick... Oh yeah, this was very quickly, I'll mention this. We noticed over the Christmas period that the biggest API hitters were the My Place notices, which is our VLE integration. That's the notices that you would get in the Moodle environment. We thought it was very interesting because it gave us an insight over the Christmas period into how students wanted to engage with the institution. They wanted to sort of dip in and have a quick look, but they didn't really want to come into the VLE proper. So that was a very interesting insight for us. Quick tour of the app. So we've aimed to give, this was the brief, what information students needed, when they needed it, and in any location. And that continues to be our brief, and it's a very challenging one. And our student catchment are living in a world where they expect a certain level, and it's been very difficult to keep up with that. We did a lot of work on our class timetable. I'm happy to show it to people at the end. And we managed to have a sort of landscape and portrait view that we thought was really cool, and we showed it to last year. So it's very hard to impress them. So we keep questing on, and I hope you're going to talk a bit about delight later, aren't you? So yep, if we push on, we don't have a lot of time. So what we provide are personalised class timetables. My coursework, which is directly brought in from our virtual learning environment. We have an exam timetable, which I'm sure you'll all be familiar with. A lot of institutions have the class and the exam timetable separately because they're very different processes. But to students, they're very much saying, where am I going next? I don't really care which system I should be in at the moment. Exam results as well, we've just moved to a new Scientia product there. So we did an overhaul and gave a front window through the app, which has been really powerful. Yes, please. So this is the other thing, students want to know before they leave the house if their class is going to be cancelled. So we can do class cancellations through the air notifier, VLE tool that we use, and this pushes out into the app. We can either do it as an interrupt, we can do it as a My Place notice, as would come up like a badge, like an email, or we can do it as a promoted menu item to let students know when they go out in the morning to look at what's on for the day that their class has been cancelled or rescheduled. One of the biggest issues we have is exercise classes and cardio suite spaces, so they don't go up to the gym and find you can't go onto a cardio machine. So it's interesting to think that the big services that we know that students need in order to be able to complete their degree, there's other things in there that we delight, smaller things that will really hook them into using that and keep them coming back to using it all the time. Cool. So where campus maps, we have, if anybody's ever been to Strathclyde University, a very hilly campus that people complain a lot about, going up and down the hills and finding things. So we're very much in the first iteration. We've got kind of what we would say is quite standard campus map using Google at the moment, but we have some barriers to getting into the floor level in the buildings. So until we can do that, we can't get the sort of where do I want to go today. I want to walk down this corridor and into that room down there. So that's where we're going with that. A lot of these things really popular, finding a PC, particularly around exam time. So we have that all hooked up. And just checking in and out library books and accessing student support. Often it's hard to find these things buried in your website, so the app's been good for that. Yeah, the big one, this is the big thing. If anyone asks me what we thought has been the biggest success of the app, it's been the personalised information and the ability to communicate directly with students through the My Notices, the push notifications and the interrupts. It's been very, very effective, and it's very different from the old mode of class 23 on the notice board, you're cancelled today. It's very much, morning Tom, you can go back to bed, your class has been cancelled. So we love this. Okay, I think this is you now, Scott.
Thank you. I just want to say it's kind of number one big request was more of the BLE. I think what happened here, as I pick up the baton, is it changed the way that we approach our BLE development, our middle development. We'd always had a kind of a mobile-friendly approach to the BLE, having a responsive design that worked on your phone. But we started to coordinate our releases such that we were exposing functionality in the BLE that was simultaneously being coming up in the mobile app, and we were starting developing services, specifically developing services for consumption by the mobile app or other web services, rather than being having to go to the right place to have the things you want. It was very much about kind of the mobile app, the wonderful kind of instrument change in that respect in terms of bringing together all the various services that are the student experience, and the VLE being a kind of part of that learning experience. The mobile app became the front door to that, and that changed our perspective in terms of how we then developed and designed the Moodle BLE itself.
Yeah, over to you.
Yeah.
I think it might be back to me.
Back to you.
Is it back to me?
It's not a marathon.
It's not, well, sometimes with traditional developers, who I did have a couple in the team, they would be saying, this is not a sprint, it's like a marathon. I think your comment was it's more of a decathlon. Yeah, it's not. So yeah, we're part of a wider structure, and it's only getting bigger. We're very aware that now, once you have a successful product, it creates demand for even more. So we have other services. We have a new sport and leisure building, for example, coming on stream. Oh, we'll have a sport app. Now, you can very much see the role for that, but is it the best use of our development time to redevelop fitness apps that are already doing very well in the industry, that if we're going to buy in a software system that we are, that comes with an app. What we really need to figure out is how do we market that in terms of it still being part of the Strathclyde brand and part of that ecosystem. As new buildings come on stream with new technologies, they might want to use it for access, boarding pass type idea for getting in and out. So we're now starting to think about the wider ecosystem and how that works, and that's tough because the developers get to the end of the sprint and think, great, I can take a bit of a break now, and you say, not really, we're going to have to get used to just keeping going and keep going and keeping going, and it's never going to end. So yeah, it's a marathon. Very quickly, because I know a largely techie audience, here comes the science bit after our fantastic speaker earlier this morning. Our first lap, our first release was built on what we now are seeing as an old technology on PhoneGap Cordova. We built in-house, we didn't go for M-Campus. So somebody, I think, coming in the door asked me, was this the M-Campus? No, we didn't. We built in-house completely with jQuery. It became difficult quite quickly to deliver high quality results. The developers are not here today, but if anybody really wants to hear more about what we've done there, please do wait at the end and I'll take a note of your name. So our next release coming up for the start of the next term in the summer will be on Ionic. So we're still Cordova, but we're now working mostly 90% of our development effort in Angular, part of Ionic. So the reason we've done that is because it's a more complete mobile development framework. Just easier for us to use, improve performance, and there's a greater community there, a more reliable community for us to draw from, so that's why we've made that decision. I'll introduce this one. I think you've probably got the most to say about this. We wanted to give you something to kind of take away today. There's so much information at a conference like this, and it's really hard to go away. You usually take one or two things, don't you, from every speaker. So our Sprinter's top 5 tips, if we were to analyse, it's all about the collaboration. We've heard so much about it in the last few days. Short-term tangible output, sponsor investment. Scaling up, we're good at small projects, but how do we get that to transfer into the bigger stuff? And how do we retain the agile approach post-project? We're still kind of finding our feet with that. So that is something to be aware of. Scott, I know you want to say, how are we for time? Are we okay? Thank you.
For me, the interesting aspect of all, the interesting story for me is not so much the technology at all. It's very much been kind of how this project has been such a lovely instrument of change in the way that we can do our business. And the kind of key thing here is the kind of, because we said that our kind of primary focus has been the student experience. We're not going to have a university happen. It's going to be for the students and focus entirely on that. And that meant kind of, if you like, mobilising what was quite a dispersed set of student services, information, websites, departments, which just kind of a lovely set of kind of partnerships were created from that.
Yeah.
And it kind of leads into all that Don was talking about, how we take these things forward in the future. It's changed the way that we work. So in terms of kind of the project itself, it was a collaboration. In terms of project board made up of 3 directors. We had information services director, essentially the technical staff. We had myself representing student experience, and we had marketing comms, ensuring that we stuck to our brands, and we had a vocal loss on what we presented. But very much for them, this was actually looking to the inward student audience for the first time, because they're genuinely interested in the group. So that was nice, and it kind of changed their perspective. IS previously, historically, may have seen this as very much a techie project, and this kind of took it above that altogether in terms of this is about a service, and it's a holistic approach, and in terms of the student experience director itself in the department, so all of a sudden we had to mobilise and get momentum within those 9 areas, whether it was student support, health and wellbeing, counselling, study skills, disability services, student finance. Our first big hit was timetable.
Yeah.
So we again told in terms of let's have
mention your
Yeah,
student
students,
stuff
yes,
before we do. I ended up back in the classroom, lectures, tutorials, working with our entrepreneurial students in the business school and working with our CIS master's students, actually asking them to give us our product backlog to say, you know, we've given you this, have a look at the timetable now, giving them comic strips literally to show you've just arrived at the university, what do you need? I'm just about to go on the bus, but I need to take my library book back. How can a mobile app help you in these situations? I've got an exam tomorrow, I've ended up in the hospital, what do I do? So they were given these in the entrepreneur class, and at the moment we're waiting on reports coming in from 200 undergraduate students to let us know what they think we should do next. And then we're working with the Masters IT students who cared enough to tweet about it, which is why that's up there, which was nice, to actually categorise that and then think about, from a technical perspective, how can we take that forward. I heard someone mention when we came in about having Alexa and Siri. When this all came out, we thought, oh right, we need to do this with the app, and we put it up, the must, should, could, won't with students. We got 20 won'ts straight away. Don't do that, I'm not interested. So it's been a really, really good insight into working with students, for students, by students. And then we've actually ended up with students working in the team. With one of the developers was one of our master's students, and he's now working in the team with us as well. So it's allowed us to really use students in the development and be directly engaged with our customers. So, your turn again.
It really has been kind of a collaboration at every level across the university. And how do you achieve that? And this is kind of the Agile approach for me was a new thing. But the kind of key thing, it was mentioned that I came in late today to fly down from Glasgow this morning. So I made the tail end of the kind of the JISC presentations before lunch, and picked up tangible outputs, that kind of the message that you send out in terms of clear progress, impact, whether that's for the student population themselves in terms of, oh, there's something happening here, there's a school, I'm going to download this, I'm going to have that. All the staff, more importantly, you've motivated to contribute to all these things, to see the benefit of all their endeavours, and are continued to motivated and engaged to participate. Probably the key thing really in terms of is the message up the way. You can kind of shiny keys and coins for the magpies and senior management above you in terms of look at our API hits, look at our downloads, look at all the kind of positive reaction in the stores, and they can see we made a small investment of small 5-figure sum, and yeah, this is really taking off. Directors above you, which is like, yeah, there's a key part of our strategy going forward, and things just start to get momentum, which is fantastic. And if we hadn't had any kind of short-term tangible outputs, kind of, we would have been another go away, come back in 9 months, not kind of what we were looking for, and we would maybe had about 1,500, 2,000 downloads, and the thing would peter out. But it's not about that.
Yeah.
A technical development.
Just to pick up on that, we're on 1.3.6 releases in a 12-month period, which in itself is it's a lot of heavy workload to be releasing. I think everybody's ever released an Apple store, you've got a 2 to 4 week turnaround time to even get it in the store. So there's been lots of interesting things learned there, but having something at the end of each sprint to show was the most powerful thing.
Absolutely. I mentioned this already, but I think one of the key reasons we were able to be so successful was around the clarity of vision. It's quite an easy thing to say in terms of what's going to be the student experience, we're going to focus on that. Essentially we had 3 directors of directorates, all who generally speaking are competing for the same resource, so it's a competitive environment. Essentially agreeing on that fundamental kind of premise, if you like, which made it really straightforward to then have those difficult conversations, where you maybe have another very senior member of staff saying, no, can we not have car park in Scotland? Now, the staff want to see if there's a car park spaces available here, and they're like, no. Quite comfortable to disappoint maybe half a dozen or a dozen very senior members of staff, because 23,000 students want a personalised timetable. Or actually I've got hundreds of students who want to use the gym, but actually it's a trek up that hill. And previously we have a web page that would show you bits and pieces, and the process around kind of managing that web page was quite a manual process in terms of what ones are free. So by the time you got there, the rooms were full. the mobile app, well, you can't have 10,000 students check to see if there's a space that they get there it's used. So it's fundamentally changed the business process, or the human process became a systems process to monitor availability of X, Y, Z. So it's fantastic in terms of that.
And I'm the one in the middle with the whistle, trying to keep them all pleased. That's usually my job. Very much has evolved into that now as the service manager of the app, is to make sure that each area is being fairly represented and keeping the student experience at the heart of that. Because it's very, very easy to think, oh, we could have conferencing apps, or we could have repair reporting functionality, we could have, there's so many different things that we could have, but we always have that core sense check of going back to students to say, is this going to actually help you today on campus to get to where you need to be, so that you can get your degree and graduate, the very reason that you're here. I think this one.
Yeah, and I think we've retained that singular purpose, that singular focus, which has given us other problems to contend with in terms of, is it one app or is it an ecosystem of apps, in terms of the approach is one we take. So it's a good problem to have. And kind of coming back to kind of what Donna said earlier, and said to me actually, it was one of the directors, we're good at the small projects, Scott, £50,000, 9 months, but how do we translate that success into the big ones, like a £12 million student records project or something like that. How do we ensure we have that success? And I think an awful lot of that is very much down to the how. Yeah. Not so much the what, but the how and the who, and that kind of wonderful collaborative approach, which I think is, projects kind of live and they die, but I think what's come out of this has been very much a kind of change in all of our approach and perspective to things. Definitely. In terms of this kind of partnership approach.
And I should blow our trumpet and say we won the University Values Award, which wasn't something we expected, because we were probably more thinking about a times higher and thinking, how do we get this leading technological university, and then got the one that was actually from our peers to say we really enjoyed working on that, and we thought that you worked really well and you engaged really well and you collaborated really well, and that was maybe something that really validated that it wasn't just something we quite were enjoying, it actually worked. What we were doing actually worked.
The nominations were all internal, and they weren't from senior management, they were actually from diverse bits of the university, whether it was a science faculty member of staff or a student association area. Yeah. And it was very much around, well, for me, the fact university values being kind of innovative, bold, ambitious, but people orientated and collaborative being the kind of the key ones that came out of this. It was nice that we hit all of them.
Yeah, I'm aware of the time, we've not got a lot left, but I wanted to put this up as the last one, Agile post-project. The hurdles come back. We thought we'd got to the end of the sprint and that we'd won and we'd got the award and everyone was using it and it was great, but the hurdles keep coming. And something that Stefan, the futurist, fantastic presentation yesterday, really resonated with me, was when he said there's no point in getting really good at one thing because it's going to change. So I think that's what we're taking away from. There's no point in us getting really good at an app, because 5 years from now we're probably not going to be talking about apps. I don't know what we'll be talking about, but what we want to take away from it is that collaboration, that innovation, that ability to work together to really do exciting things and make sure that we're satisfying what our customers actually want, our student catchment. And that is something that, with my development team, some of the traditional habits come back when the project ends. And I'm not coming for the Scrum stand-up every morning and saying, okay, this needs to be done by Friday, and they start to go back to the, oh yeah, I started fixing the back end of that, or I started, and you're saying, we need to keep that mindset, and it's engendered in that in a team that we hope will be the biggest lesson and the biggest benefit from this. Anything else you want to answer?
No, I
think just questions. Have we got time for questions?
Thank you. 2 minutes.
Any questions?
Yeah, I've got a question. Do you use any tools to support your agile process, like management test
we
cases?
use Jira and Confluence. Okay. That's what we use. We use Jira for actually our help desk type tasks, and we use Confluence for sharing information. So that's what we usually tend to use. We have Landesk as well, but we found that Jira, we had a lot of information radiators, as they call them in Agile, which was all the notice boards up everywhere with the sprints and all the information, which techie people, being techie people, I came in one day and they were all on screens around the room. I was thinking we kind of got away from the post-it or the writing stuff up on the wall, so yeah, they very quickly turned it into technology-focused dashboards, but yeah, we did use Confluence and Jira mostly. What else? There's a few.
Is the app bi-directional for the students and information back?
Not yet. not yet, but it is something that we're looking at. We're also looking at the ability for them to export information. Some of them are saying we just want to take the timetable and take the exam timetable, the class timetable, the exam timetable, and all the events that I'm interested in, and my exercise classes, and put them in my native calendar on my phone. So that's the next. We're looking at this My Calendar idea. There has been some discussions with academic staff who might be interested in using it for sort of voting in classroom situations to get feedback on things as well. So that's something potentially we could look at. And the learning analytics, do you want to say anything about that?
We're looking at early days of learning analytics. We're on the GIST project, and they have a mobile app as part of that, which is very, very different from the approach we take here. It's like the equivalent of a fitness app for your classes. I think what will happen, there's opportunities in terms of a number of ethical issues and permission issues to overcome first, but in terms of where you've got a kind of tipping point of having the vast majority of your student population now have a smart device, and actually they've got the university app and they're using the university app, you can then use that as a potential data source in terms of analytics, in terms of whether it's student movements around campus, appropriately anonymised in terms of usage of that campus, or for introducing or as a metric, a proxy for some kind of engagement. So that's kind of
We're
that's
also,
further down the line in terms of there's a lot of very kind of serious consideration need to be given in terms of kind of the appropriateness and use of that kind of data alongside the.
Sorry, Scott, one of my master's groups is looking at a group working tool, because one of the biggest challenges they face day to day is working in groups effectively. So they're very interested in the ability to maybe check into a group working space to say, I turned up, so can I get 5% please, because the other people in my group didn't do the bit that they were supposed to do. So they're designing something along that. So that'll be interesting to see how that information comes back and what we do with that as well. There's someone else that gone quiet. Oh, yeah.
Did you have all the skills in-house from the start, or did you need to bring them in to develop them?
We brought in a front-end developer. We didn't have the front-end skills, and that was our master's student. And we took a lower grade for a year with somebody that had just been a student themselves, because he knew what we needed. He'd been doing a lot of his own web development, a lot of his own mobile development, and he was fantastic. And he's now a fully fledged member of staff. But without him, I think I would single-handedly say we wouldn't be where we are, because the packaging it up and making it look the way students expect is what really gave us the impact, I think, we needed to. Yeah. Anyone else? Ready for a cup of tea? Yeah. Thanks very much. Thank you.